back to my channel. I'm going to start by saying it is a Sunday right now. My kids are home and they are loud and proud playing, and they're downstairs with their daddy, so if you hear them, sorry. This is going to be the first of 2 videos around the same concept, and I'll explain that here in a second. I originally wanted to make it one full video, but when I went back and edited some of the clips, it was just going to be way too long, and I feel like I've just really put up a lot of really long videos lately, and I wanted to kind of condense it a little bit. So originally I had wanted to do a battle of the Lancome foundations. A couple months ago, Ulta sent an email saying Lancome was 5 times the points. I've always wanted to try more of their foundations. I've had the Tint Idol 24-hour wear for quite a while now, but I hadn't tried any of their other foundations, so I thought it was a great time to purchase more. So what I did was I purchased 3 of them. I feel like they all have different claims or different formats, different formulas, all that kind of stuff. So I felt like it was going to be a good comparison video. So I was just going to do a battle of the Lancome foundations. Like I said, it was too long. What I did was I did a separate clip, one each day, of me trying out the foundations. The 3 that I bought at Ulta were new, and those demo days were the first time I tried them. But they had been quite a while ago, so I have tested them out extensively since then. So while the demo is a first impression per se, my final thoughts at the end of the video are not. I've tried them with many different powders and primers. So I decided to just do a 2 and 2. So this first video, like video number 1 of 2, is going to be talking about the Lancome Miracle Cushion Foundation and the Tint Idol Ultra Wear Makeup Stick. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly go to my demos of that, where I apply them and I tell you all about what I think upon first application. And then I'm going to come back at the end of the video and I'm going to tell you my rundown of the 2. And after the second video, which I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to probably upload that one in a couple days. After that video, at the end of that video, I'm going to tell you my favorite one of all 4. So if you want to see how these 2 foundations work for me, then keep on watching. And again, I'll update you at the end of the video on my final thoughts. Okay, so today we are doing the Lancome Miracle Cushion Foundation. Now I know they have a couple of different cushion foundations, but this is just the Miracle one. It's not the Tint Idol, or I think it's just the first one they came out with. I am in the color 250 Bisque W. I'm afraid this might be a little too light, but we shall see. When you open it, it comes with the standard puff and then a closure that you open, and the product is underneath. Now the product looks a lot darker in the pan than it does when I took it out and swatched it on my hand. I have not used it on my face yet, but real quick, let's talk about the size and price. With most cushion foundations, you're gonna find that you only get a ½ an ounce at most. So this one does have a ½ an ounce in it, and it retails for $47, which is crazy. I'm well aware. I think cushion foundations are a complete ripoff in how much product they give you, but then they charge you the same, if not more, as a regular liquid foundation. I don't understand it. I don't pretend to understand it. This is the first high-end cushion foundation that I've ever purchased, and if it weren't for this video, I probably wouldn't have. But who knows, it may end up being phenomenal. So we're just gonna go ahead and try it. I have primed with the Lancome La Base Pro. I'm trying to use that with all of my videos. I feel like if a primer is going to work best, it's going to be one that the company of the foundations actually produced. So that's what we're using. So again, it comes with this little puff. Julie, if you're watching, I'm going to attempt it with the puff. And then I do have a beauty blender on hand if things go crazy awry. But she basically is a longtime follower and just such a dear person, but she was like, please, if you review a cushion foundation, do not stick a beauty blender in it like I see everybody else doing it. It's meant to be used with these. And honestly, I think this is the only different thing about a cushion foundation, that and that the actual product is in a cushion, but it's still a liquid foundation when it comes down to it. So I'm going to take this little puff, and I'm just going to press it into the product, get that much on, and I'm just going to go straight in. And I'm just going to press it. Now, according to Ulta's website, it does say that it works great with a regular foundation brush or sponge as well, but this is how they suggest using the sponge. Just pressing it down into the foundation. Lightly if you want light coverage, moderately for moderate coverage. And then just tapping it, or patting it, they say, on your face. Now, this foundation claims to give hydrating and brightening benefits. I don't have a ton of redness today, but I can still see a little bit of it coming through. However, it does look very much like skin. So I'm going to put a little bit more and try it on this side. I feel like I always have more redness on this side of my face. So I'm just going to pat it. It does claim to be a lightweight foundation, which I do agree with. It is very lightweight. Another, I guess, benefit to cushion foundations that makes them different is, I'm trying to really get up in here and it's not, is that they are so portable. And I will go with that. Like, it's very easy. You're not going to worry about spilling them in your makeup bag. Okay, that did not cover my redness very well at all. It did not. So I tried the puff. I'm going to try to go over it with a beauty blender and see if I can get any kind of better coverage. So I'm just going to I love this contour sponge because it's perfect to apply down in there. And then just going to pat on. I do feel like I was able to achieve more coverage that way, and that it went on better. Than with the puff. I mean, some people swear by the puff, and like I said, some people think that it's what makes a cushion foundation a foundation, is the use of that puff. However, I did not like it. I feel like this is giving much better even coverage, and I'm still doing the patting motion, except around my brows. But as far as color, I think it's actually a pretty okay color right now. It's not going to work for me in the summer, but it's pretty spot on. So that second layer covered much, much nicer. It is I would say probably a dewy finish. I don't know if that's coming off. Because it's a dewy finish, I feel like my pores are a little more accentuated, but we'll see if the powder helps that. And all in all, I really just want to see the lasting benefits and how the finish stays throughout the day. So what I can tell so far is the benefit to having a cushion foundation is the travel ability, I guess you should say, because it is very compact. It is nice. Other than that, I don't really know the benefits, because I don't think it went on good with that puff. I think the puff was actually fairly cheap feeling. It's not going to come across on camera, but I felt like I had to use a lot more product using the puff that's included than I did with my beauty blender. And the amount of product is very disappointing, as with all cushion foundations. Now, I absolutely adore my Maybelline Dream Cushion foundation, and it's like literally a fraction of the price. So we'll see how it wears throughout the day. I do see that the claims say that it has added skincare benefits of hydration and brightening, which I had already mentioned, and a cooling sensation. I didn't feel a cooling sensation when I applied it to my skin. I will say that. It's still a little tacky. So I definitely suggest setting this foundation. I don't think it's one that you're going to be able to go, even if you have super dry skin, one that you're going to be able to go without setting. But it does give a very lightweight, dewy, hydrated finish, which they claim. So I'll be back in a second once I finish all of my makeup. So this is with all the rest of the makeup done. I feel like it looks better once it has other makeup on top of it, because it is so lightweight. Like, pretty much you can put as much as you want on top of it. It's not going to look cakey, which I like. The powder did help with the pores. We'll see how that goes throughout the day. But right now, I am liking the finish of the foundation. So we shall see how it works throughout the day. Okay, I know I look really weird right now, but today we are testing out the Lancome Tint Idol Ultra Wear Makeup Stick Foundation. This has the sunscreen broad spectrum of SPF 21, which is so odd. All these odd numbers of sunscreen. I know I look like a ghost. It's reflecting off the white of my shirt. Plus, I have really dark eyes right now. I'm in the midst of doing the ABH smoky eye, which we'll see how it turns out. I may or may not have posted this look, but that's the look I'm going for right now, and it just looks a little off kilter. But anyways, again, back to the stick. It is $42 and it has 0.31 ounces. Now, stick foundations as a whole have less product than liquid foundations, you are probably never going to find one with a full ounce that you could compare price-wise. So this is obviously more expensive than a liquid foundation when you're measuring product, but it's kind of on par with other stick foundations as far as the amount that you get and what you're going to pay for it. So give or take a few ounces in dollars for a high-end stick foundation, be on par with the other ones. I got the color 320 Bisque W, and this is the color right here. I believe this is in their medium range if you're looking at the descriptions on the website. I have already primed my face. I use the It Cosmetics Bye Bye Pores Primer, and then I also put color corrector underneath. However, I have not done anything else. The only thing that I can tell you is that I do need to shave my face. So we'll see if this accentuates the hair that is naturally on my face. All right, so we are just going to apply with stripes, and I'm going to buff out with my Makeup Geek Face Buffer Brush. So this is darker than my face. However, I feel like it's going to be an okay match for my neck and chest. So I just did 3 stripes on each side. I'm going to use a brush because I rarely find that stick foundations work better with a sponge. However, when I do my updates, I will tell you whether or not it worked once I try it with a sponge. But for today, I'm just using a brush. So it's super easy to blend in, which I was expecting from the reviews that I've already seen. Now, keep in mind, it is now 1:30 in the afternoon, and I have been up since 4 o'clock this morning. I had a client at 5:15, then I had a doctor's appointment to go to. I had some work to do when I got home, and I'm just now sitting down. So, upon first application, it blended out great. However, I do think it accentuates my hairs. And if you can see, hopefully right here, I have some redness that's still peeking through. So I'm going to see if this is buildable. I'm just going to put a little stripe right there and just kind of stipple it in so that I'm not actually rubbing it off. Okay, so that covered it. It is buildable. Doesn't look any more cakey, but I feel like it does kind of look cakey. Now, to be fair to the foundation, I'm going to put a little bit more on my nose. Because I've been up so long, it's been hours, obviously, since I've done my skincare. I mean, I did my skincare at 4 o'clock in the morning. So it's been, what, 8 hours? I did spritz with Fix Plus before I applied my primer. Let me see if I can really zoom you in. I'm hoping, clean my area off, that you're going to be able to see. I feel like it's accentuating my pores. It's just kind of like making them come to the surface and say, hey, look at me, I'm here. I do feel like it's kind of like, you can see, look, you know I'm real with y'all. You can see my hair right there, which, I mean, it's hair, it's going to be noticeable. But I don't know, I just feel like it kind of accentuates the things that I don't want it to accentuate. That's my forehead. Yeah. So, I don't know. That's it right there. I will check back in with you once I get my full face done, and then I'll give you my final thoughts at the end of the video. So this is with everything on top. I used the Chanel powder today, and I don't know. I think once I powdered it, the pores got a little bit better, but I also think that's because the powder that I used is so good at blurring my pores. I would say it has probably a natural finish. Why can't I say that normal? I always say natural, like that. Natural. Probably like a natural finish. I don't even know what its claims are. It claims to be full coverage, long wearing, powder to cream texture, leaving a second skin look. Transfer resistant, can be used as a concealer, infused with Ambora extract, whatever that means. It helps to reduce the appearance of redness. Okay, it says it's supposed to leave the skin mattified and pore and shine free. I don't feel like it gave me a super matte finish. I feel like it was more of a natural finish, like a skin finish. They do claim that it was second skin, although I can see foundation on my skin. It is already starting to settle into a laugh line, so I will obviously be taking copious notes and letting you know how it wears throughout the day. And I will try it a couple more times before I come back at the end of the video and give my final thoughts. But until then, this is the first time me trying the Lancome Tint Idol Ultra Wear Makeup Stick. Okay, so now that I have tried out those two foundations, I'm going to tell you my final thoughts on them after I have used them, I don't know how many more times, but quite a few more times. I will tell you that out of the two, the Miracle Cushion is by far my favorite. It's what I'm wearing today. I'll start with that one since that's the first one I did a demo on. I mean, the high points are pretty much the high points I talked about in the demo. It doesn't oxidize. It only needs one layer. I didn't have to like build it up. Once I just used my Beauty Blender, I don't like the puff that it comes with, but I think we've already established that. If I use my Beauty Blender going in, I don't need more than one layer to get the coverage that I desire for my skin. There wasn't a cooling sensation like it's claimed to have, but honestly, that's not why I bought the foundation, so I don't really care about the cooling sensation. It does stay all day on me, and it's so fast to apply. That is one very awesome pro about the Cushion foundation, is that it is so fast. I mean, I dip, apply, I don't have to wipe off my hand from where I pumped foundation on it. I don't have to like mix colors. It's cleaner and it's faster. My pores look really good with different powders, and there's absolutely no sinkage into my laugh lines or pores throughout the day. I've used this with many different primers. The only primer I would say I don't like it with necessarily is like a luminizing primer, because this is more of a dewy, luminous finish, and I don't prefer to have a luminizing primer underneath because that's just a little too much for me. If you're into like want to glow to the high heavens, then that will probably work fine. I don't feel like the different primers, I don't feel like one primer made it last longer than the other. As far as powders, I feel like, again, the only powder I wouldn't prefer on top of it is something that did have a luminizing effect to it, like my La Mer powder or like the Lancome Absolute powder. I wouldn't use that because it's just a little too luminous. However, I feel like because it is such a lightweight consistency and it is so thin, I can afford to use heavier powders on top of it and it doesn't look cakey. So, you know, my favorite powder is the Chanel powder that I actually used it with, but that's my favorite powder with pretty much everything. Today I have it on with the Cover FX Perfect Setting Powder, and I love it just the same. So the only thing I will say, well, it's not the only con is that it is absolutely ridiculous how much money they charge for these foundations in a Cushion compact. There is no way, even though I absolutely love this foundation, there's no way I would ever repurchase it. Unless someone gave me like a 60% coupon, I am not going to spend $47 for a half an ounce of foundation. I feel like even today, this was like, I don't know, the 6th or 7th time I've used it, I really had to push my Beauty Blender in it to get some product on it. I feel like it's a pretty evident complaint across the board is that it runs out really fast because it's soaked into the sponge. Even some of that 0.5 ounce you're never going to be able to use because it's so saturated into that sponge. So I'm not even getting half an ounce of product. I don't feel like it's not going to last me long, and it's way too expensive. However, if you do have money that you really just don't know what to do with, I do enjoy this foundation. So let's talk real quick about the stick foundation. I did not like this. I mean, I don't really know how else to explain it. I've tried it so many ways. I've tried it with luminous primers, silicone primers, non-silicone primers. I've not tried it with mattifying primers because I don't want to be more matte than this formula itself gives you. So I haven't tried it with that. I can't imagine it working well with that. I don't know. I don't like it with a Beauty Blender. I did tell you I would let you know about that. I find the best brush that works with it is the Hourglass foundation brush. However, I don't think that you need to go out and buy a $40-something brush in order to make this foundation work. I think that's not practical whatsoever. I feel like the thing that I disliked most about this is from the very second I put it on, you could see makeup on my face. You could see it sitting there. It almost looked like I just painted on something on my face. It didn't sink in. It did accentuate my pores. And it's not like it starts out looking like a makeup, and as my natural oils come through and as I go throughout my day, it kind of sinks in and melts into my skin. No, it's not like that. It kind of just gets worse. It gets cakier and cakier throughout the day. It says it leaves a second skin finish. I believe it leaves a two skin finish. If that's what that means, then I completely agree with it, because I feel like there's my skin and then there's this. It does not, like this one looks like skin. This one looks like a totally separate second skin. So if I know that's not how they meant it, but that's the only way I could justify that claim. It's not super matte like it claims to be. I felt like it was more of a natural finish. So I think if you're more oily, you're going to appreciate this more than if you are dry, which most foundation sticks kind of gear towards the drier skins because they are more creamy and hydrating in texture. However, I think if you are oily, you might benefit from this a little bit more. I'm normal, so I don't think it's because I have super dry skin that I didn't like this. I think I just didn't like it. I mean, I know a lot of people who absolutely love it. But I think that's kind of a trend on my channel. Like most of the things that people love, I'm not die hard about. And a lot of the things people don't talk about, I am. So it was a no-go for me. Like Great, well, it's all smushed up now, but that's a lot of foundation to go through for something that I don't like. However, smooth that out and put some alcohol on it. However, it's too late to return it because I've had these for a few months now. So if you really love this foundation and you are in 320 Bisque W, you be sure to message me because I'll sell it to you. I'm not a huge fan of this. Okay, so I think that's it for this video. Hopefully you found it helpful. And like I said, I think I'm going to do my next two foundations. I'll probably just forego my normal schedule this week and put that up in a couple days, either before or after my Sephora VIB sale, which I hope to goodness I can actually film tomorrow. I still have not even gotten my package. That's a whole nother story. And yeah, hopefully this helped you out. I really, really, really appreciate you watching. I would love for you to subscribe and like if you haven't already. And I hope you all have a very blessed day.